started. Welcome to Friday Coffee. This is the event we do every other month on the second Friday of the month, except for the month when the legislature adjourns on the second Friday of the month. So we postponed our event today because we had this panel lined up and knew that they were not going to be available a week ago today. So things have settled down, hopefully a little bit in their lives by now, and we're happy to see such a great turnout. We got a hard stop for some members of our panel at around 9:30, and so we're gonna wait on introductions and the introduction of our sponsor and everything. Thank the library for being our sponsor. We're gonna hear both of them here in just a few minutes. And I'm gonna turn it over to Logan Grass, who's the chairman of the Chamber's Government Relations Committee. He's gonna be our moderator this morning. It's all yours, Logan.
Thank you, Gary. Good morning. Obviously, these three don't have much of an introduction, but we want to thank them for being here. We've got Representative Griffith, Senator Bernskoetter, and Representative Veit. Thanks, guys, for being here. Dave, I'll just start with you. All right, so what came out of this session that you're most excited about, and what was your biggest disappointment?
Well, I think what was most excited about was the pay raise we got for state employees, 8.7%. That increase was also what we did last year was 5%. So we're really not trying to keep this private sector. I think it's important to the chamber. What we're trying to do is really bring our state employees up to a ways that they can live. So many of our state employees not only have a job with us in the state, but they've got a second and third job in order to support their families. So I think it's important that we address those issues. We got that done. We got the 500 pay down for them. So what we're trying to do, especially for us three, that the state employees are the largest part of our organization. Look at what we can do to keep them and to retain them. We're losing so many in the private sector. And we're doing that because we can't compete with the private sector. So we are no longer the last in the country. We're next to last in the country. So we are making that fight. That's slowly for sure. But I think that it's important for us to continue the same momentum we've had in the last 2 years to try and address those issues with our employees. Truly, they are some civil servants. Many of them get a job in the private sector, make a lot more money than what they do. They believe in serving the public. That's one way that they can do that. The other one thing I was disappointed with is that just to Senator Bernskoetter, we shut down again at the end of the session. We only got one veteran bill passed, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So we only got one veteran bill passed, the certain rights historic issue. We had an omnibus bill that covered a lot of our veteran bills we have. Last year we had 0 veteran bills that passed. So one bill that I really hope we would address was veteran suicide and mental health. That hashtag 22 is decreased and it's not going in the right direction. So 98 has really done a lot for that. I'll talk about a little bit later. Talk about mental health because that's a big issue for me. It's something I think we've got to address. But that was my basis.
Senator, what were you most excited about, and what was your biggest disappointment?
Well, I would say employee pay, what Representative Griffith just said would probably be my number one. I think that's a great accomplishment, but if I had to say something else, it would probably be either the I-70 funding or the money that we put in the budget to fix up the capital. You know, everybody knows we put the bag a couple of years ago, fixed up the outside. We've done some work on the heating and cooling system over the last few years. But we put $300 million in the budget for the capital last year. We put another $300 million in the budget for the capital this year. And so over the next few years, we're going to update the inside of the capital. They wanted to return it back to the way it was originally. And so that's probably was the biggest thing for me. Besides the state employee pay would be the money that we're going to put into the capital. My biggest disappointment probably would be that the Senate continues to break down over the last couple of years. We've had trouble negotiating with some senators. Some senators will say, you know, I'd like to do this bill, and we say, okay, we'll do this bill, and then they like, well, I want to do this bill and this bill. So they keep changing, you know, what they want to do. And so, you know, whenever you watch a movie, they say you can't negotiate with terrorists. That's kind of what is going on over there, you know, because they always want something else. And so that really makes for a dysfunctional state. So, that's probably that. And, you know, another one might be the IP reform, the initiative petition reform. I wish we would have got that done, because it just seems like it's too easy for Bruce to put something on the ballot and change our constitution.
Rudy, kind of same question, what we're most excited about this one?
Well, most excited about it certainly was the pay raise, and I do have a continued meeting set up this summer. I want to try to get Moses to work with them, see if there's a way we can get back paid now. It's an important thing that a lot of people want. It's going to take money, but if the prices didn't come from the president's employees, it came from years ago before fund the annuity program to pay out. So I've been meeting set up with Moses, hoping to do something on that. Certainly, I think I-70 was a great way of spending the money we had. One of my other things was court authorization, which is your funding of CaseNet as an independent fund, and it's going to Sunshine. CaseNet is we go on. I think everybody's familiar with that, sign all stuff. Well, if we didn't pass it and get rid of sunset, part of their funds is going to dry up, and we totally rely upon general revenue. So that's always a problem. If you want to expand the program like the computer system, those are long-term obligations, you need a dedicated fund. That was a priority of the Missouri Supreme Court. That was one that did pass, that I carried in the House and the Senate. Nominated, working with Senator Crawford and my bill. Just on a personal level, was my animal chiropractic bill. Senator Bernskoetter carried it over the Senate side, facing. But I also have a niece who is a chiropractor and licensed to treat animals as a chiropractor. And what it did was, before, in order for a chiropractor to treat your animals, they take special training. They would have to have a veterinarian come to their office, or go to the veterinary office to treat your dog. Now they can do it on referral. That was compromised, but ultimately did get the veterinary board and the chiropractic board sit down and meet in my office and got an agreement on what the work's going to be. They've been trying this for 10 years, they kind of get in scope of practice. Everybody wants to protect their turf. So it's great to get them all together and get that bill through. There's a number, well, one of the other ones that affects here in Cole County is 2 years ago, they passed a bill which had to do with what type of credit inmates got from the time they were arrested, so they went to prison, credit for the time served. Well, it got all messed up, and ultimately meant that the judge had to make a determination what it was. So if you came into court today and you decided not to go to trial, you pled guilty, we have to sit in our jail for 2 or 3 weeks, but we try to figure out what your jail time credit was, how much you were entitled to, and that was an added cost. And that, and originally the Department of Corrections, we changed that back to the Department of Corrections to determine if once you're there. If you're not happy with it, then you can file your appeal. But that doesn't mean that the process kept people from just sitting in our jail. And it wasn't fair, because one guy could bond out and the other one couldn't, and the guy sitting in jail was getting no credit for time. That, again, that was not one of my growing out, was that change from the judges. There's another one, a nursing home administrative fraud. When the nursing home administrative board was set up, they forgot to put the sunshine protection in it. And so when there was a claim, someone filed a claim against the nursing home administrator, they would have to put back the patient records and everything. That was all sunshineable. We had to get that cleared up. That's another earth shattering, just clean up. My biggest disappointment was IT failure. I think that, you know, the Constitution is designed to protect the minority from the majority. The majority can immediately change it. You have no protection for the minority. But you shouldn't change the Constitution every time it's a win 50%. Give me $3 million and a fancy name, and I'll change the Constitution for me. And that, you know, they had a great bill, I thought. It's a compromise came out of the Senate, which was 57% to change the Constitution. They also put a provision that if people use the district referendum to change the statute, we cannot change it for 3 years without 57%, which I thought was a good thing. So that's why people don't want to use that because they would pass something we, the legislature, line that big spectrum up there, but the legislature could change it. Now, the part that didn't have it, and I want in there is, if initiative petitions should require 57% of the votes of the public to pass, if one comes from the House or Senate, it's on resolution, or legislature on constitutional amendment, it should have that same standard. We didn't have that in there. Because just because we are in the legislature doesn't mean every resolution we pass is that right. I mean, one of the Senate bill was a simple one that would have taken the highway department's funding control back under the legislature instead of the highway department. Just think about how we get along well up there, 161 of us plus the Senate could determine when we're gonna build a bridge. Most of them don't know how to design a birdhouse under the bridge. And so I spoke very openly against the guy who carried, I think he took offense, but he had carried several bills against the highway department. I told him he wanted your water for the most bad bills this year. None of his past either. I did have pleasure script with some off in committee. Not that I'm vindictive, but that, just because we're up there that way doesn't mean all of, politics is still there.
Rudy doesn't hold back his there.
I'm getting governor on money.
Rudy.
And then, sorry about that. It's wrong.
No, you're
I'll ask.
Representative Griffith, like you said, you've been a staunch advocate for veterans. You talked about the lack of progress. What are you going for the next session?
Well, one of the things I really like about this particular session is the Missouri Veterans Commission that's got more funding than we have in the past. We got a lot of funding for our veterans home, we got a lot of funding for our Christian cemeteries. Really starting to address the issues that we got with our veteran service officers. We got $1.6 million to our veteran service officers to increase those, to increase the pay of those. Veteran service officers believe that police on the ground that work with our veterans to get their benefits, to protect their rights if they have as veterans. And their workload is just it's tremendous. We lose a lot of them because they just get frustrated. They have so many cases to do and they can't handle all of them. So we address that. And I think we're starting to address some of the issues we have in our veterans homes, being able to allow more veterans to come into the veterans home because of the pay raise we got this year and last year, the differential pay that we have for those who work the evening shift. So we're looking at those and the budget committee, both the House and the Senate, really address a lot of those. Mental health, as I mentioned, that's part of what we're going on with veterans. And we were able to allocate $300 million to build a new mental health hospital in Kansas City. Our hospital we have full is max capacity. And we have enough staff, but we don't have enough space for patients. So what we're doing is really having to, and we have in our jail here, National Sheriff, we've got a lot of mental health cases that are here in our jail that we can't treat. So we allocated $2.5 million this year for jail-based treatment. It's going to be editing. It's going to be 5 different sites. I lobbied for Jefferson to get one of those. I lost that lobby, but we're at least making strides in the right direction. So I think that I was very hopeful going on there. I've advocated for 5 years that the Missouri Veterans Commission be put back as a line item in the budget. That hasn't happened yet. Anytime that I go see Cody Smith is our budget chair. When he sees me walking in the office, he knows I'm going to talk about one of 3 things: either veterans, Lincoln University, or state employee pay. So those are the 3 things that I advocate for with our budget chair every year.
Thank you. Senator, you talked about obviously state pay increase, mandate step forward. What's next for the state government to be able to attract and retain employees?
Well, I've always said ever since I got there that we need to do something with our state employee pay. We can't do something with the pay, then we need to incentivize state employees in some other way. And when, I guess it was 2011, if you were hired after 2011, you have to put 4% into your retirement now. Before that, your retirement was all paid for. That was part of your benefit package. And like Rudy said, we used to have 80 now, now it's 90 now. So we need to look at some of those things. If they're not willing to increase their pay, we need to look at other incentives, and also if you can stay at home and do your job and you can quantify that you're doing your job, I don't see any reason why our state employees can't stay at home and do their job from home, as long as you can quantify that they're actually doing something. But they're doing a lot of other things too, like they've had these job fairs. They've done a couple job fairs over the last year where they're going out and trying to recruit employees. I was actually a judge on something they called the Show Me Challenge. It was labeled after, it was kind of modified from the Shark Tank idea. And there was about 8 or 10 groups of state employees, and they all had different ideas on how to make state government better, or how to incentivize employees and attract new employees. And the one that actually won was where if you're a state employee and you recruit somebody else to be a state employee, you get $500 from doing that. So there's all kinds of things that they're doing. They got websites that they're trying to promote, and different social media stuff. So they're really trying hard to attract new employees.
Rudy introduced a lot of meaningful legislation, also carries bills in the House for other senators. And you talk about some of your successful, what are 2 key wins for this session?
Well, and that was Supreme Court priority, chasing it, and that, one of the bills that I'm looking at next year, I carried Senate bill in the House, 72 in the House, and it got to the floor. And we put a lot of bills in it, and it passed, and Senator Mike, Curtis Trent carried it in the Senate. We put a lot of bills in that. One of them, which Representative Davis talking about, Representative Griffith was talking about, was that right now we have people sitting in jail with mental conditions. They can't go to trial. We have nowhere to go with them. Mental health, Division of Mental Health doesn't have the authority to go to jails to treat it. That bill is in there. There was some other language put in there that I kept out, made one representative very mad. I thought it was important that we get these people in jail and get a treatment going, send them to center. Because one, it's a nightmare for jail, and 2, it's a waste of time there. That was in 72. That died, and that's one of my priorities when I go back is to file one bill with every bill that was in 72. Get a co-sponsor for everybody had bills in there, but probably 19, 20 bills in there. 6 was combined. And the senators introduced the same bill, but those have now been vetted, they've been heard, approved, and everything. The only reason it didn't pass is one senator had a tantrum. Or get second thoughts, whatever y'all call that. Those questions, but I'm not going to negotiate, I was blocking the bill, which is more different, something on the prior bill, but anyway. That would be one of the things I want to get to. That was important on mental health, and mental health report that. And I said with them also, just because there are so many people, the numbers is actually down to 200, some sitting in jail right now with nowhere to go, jails having to deal with it. The other thing we talked, someone stated about if we can do something about child care. Private industry is doing that now, getting something with child care, but child care is being so expensive. Unless you make a pretty good chunk, you really can't, kids go to school is a break. Some parents say, let's start school the first year. The child care is very expensive. The other area that I'm working on this summer is that we are being opposed to the criminal code. We have passed in 2014, you were there then, passed the criminal code and tried to get all, crimes ranked, so it's kind of like this. You just type of crime is where you fit. Well, since then, nobody's followed. And so the guy who's wanting to pass legislation because they're pulling away his ATM machines, he thinks that's a horrible crime. He says that should be a Class A felony. To him, it is a major deal. The overall scheme is, and I'm on that committee because I'm on corrections, chairman of corrections, whatever, and I'm also on the judiciary. And And so they're meeting this summer, trying to get some guidelines of how we, when people come in with their legislation, how do you fit, what time it fits and work? Not everything's class A off. That was what we got coming up. But again, my biggest disappointment was presidential primary. Yeah. When I started this year, I filed that. And another representative's husband's on a separate committee and she wanted to file it. And I said, okay, let's keep everybody. And when everybody on your side, don't worry about it, get across. Unfortunately, I thought she was moving the bill. A lot of senators didn't want to get involved. Last spring break, I got the speaker who started the committee, took the bill. Then we just ran into, everybody wanted to, put our little bit on and then killing it. Went over to the Senate for, the Senate sent the bill, we stripped it, put it on, so the Senate's blessing. Last minute, they wanted to go close primary, and politics got in the way, and maybe I'm wrong, but certainly we had the Republican Party there, leadership testifying for it, the Democratic Party leadership testifying, all the county caucuses, the only people, and I will get back from them, but the county clerks were the only one opposed to it, main one opposed to it, but they have a lot of weight. And they write letters to all the representatives and that, they're saying, don't do this, it create havoc. That's a problem. And then we also had the Secretary of State who originally passed the bill. We have the primary, last day of session, they introduced a bill along with a bunch of other bills, they eliminated it. And under election reform, when it came to the House, we had to take a leave to the Senate, trying to put the day off. So we had to take the issue, we filed a bill to put it back, just as it was before. And then there is some cost to it. It costs about $10 million to run these elections. $10 million to give people the right to have input who our presidential candidate is important. It doesn't do you any good to have the right to vote if you don't have the right to participate in who's on the ballot. Or maybe one of you here, we would think about going to caucus. I will tell you, having previously been involved with caucus, you don't do your homework before you get there that day, you'd be better off going to McDonald's and drink coffee. But it is done mostly before you get there, and that, again, is the most vocal group who picks candidates in. That is usually the 3 men of both of our parties. We need to get to the middle of the road somewhere. That was a big disappointment. Thank you. And
Dave, how do you think Judge City should partner with the state? In regards to parking, what do you think the state's role is in parking? Yes.
Well, I think some of that's going to be addressed in the capital commission right now. Senator Bernskoetter alluded to that about some of the improvements we're making, but in the master plan that we have with the capital complex, there's a portion of that where we're going to have a new central launch. And in that garage plan, there are, I forget the number, Mike, you may remember what that number is, but I think there's around 200 parking spaces in there. I think public parking spaces to be in there, but I think it's important for us, the state and the city to work together to try and find an opportunity that we can have for parking downtown. We had that opportunity under Mayor Turge's leadership that failed. Dave Barnes was disappointed in that. I've been talking with Mayor Swanner about what we can do and how we can partner with that. The reason for the moratorium that we had recently was because of one senator that wanted to have a bill that wanted to ban all parking meters and parking collection in the city of Jefferson. But another one that wanted to ban all parking meters and parking restrictions around the entire state. We do that one instead, but Senator Brown has some momentum because we have a lot of our constituents that visit. When they visit, it leaves a bad taste in their mouth with Jefferson City, where they've been in talking with their senator or the representative, and they come out, they got 2 parking tickets on their phone. And they got to pay, they got to go find a place to pay it. So it's an issue, but I think that in this master plan that we have for this new garage, for the Senate garages now, that's a few years down the road. And so we can't keep kicking the can down the road. We've got to collaborate. I think that's one thing we can do, the city and the state can do. I don't want three of us to go with that.
Any other thoughts? Senator?
Well, yeah, so I've always said, you know, if somebody wants to come visit us, or their state rep or their senator, like Representative Griffith said, it's not the city's fault, it's our fault. You know, it's the state's fault. So we need to do something to address the parking. I don't think, you know, if we can do something, you know, partner with the city and build a parking garage but I don't think it's the city's fault. I think it's the state's fault. If we want people to come visit us and not get a parking ticket, then I think the state needs to figure out a way to do that.
I think they have to have access to us as capital, but I also realize that the city has to recognize we are like any other business. Right? You know, our stores, we want to keep them. We have to somehow make a deal so they can come here and get parking, because they don't come to the capital, they're not here in Jeff City. If people aren't coming here in Jeff City, then we lose power to have state government here. And so I think that the state government is one of our biggest assets in Jeff City also. While we have a responsibility, we need to work together to get parking. We also, the city, has to realize that that's part of our obligation in the county.
Anyone in the room or on Zoom have any specific questions? I think we've got about 4 minutes left.
I do.
Anyone? Any question for anyone on Zoom? Guess I've got one follow-up. What are y'all's thoughts about the legislative study group on decentralizing state government functions?
It's House Bill 735, where Rudy brought that forward. It really creates a task force that is a public-private partnership. I think it's good. It would be the Speaker of the House would appoint 3 members, 2 on the majority side, and the minority 4 was 1 on the minority side. The Senate would do the same thing, and then we would have the Commissioner of the Office of Administration, as well as the State Auditor's Office to be involved. So you got major players that are there, all sitting down. One piece that I think is missing from that is a public representative, the member at large that represents the communities, the private sector. But I think the next time that we can have a public-private partnership, I think everybody does. We've got too much state government right now. We've got too much government that's involved. Or we get private industry involved in decision making that we're going to get our communities. I think we all win.
Well, I probably have a slightly different opinion on that. I'm not opposed to studying that stuff, but I want government, I want our state government staying in Jeff City. I worry once we start decentralizing it, St. Louis and Kansas City has more legislatures than we do. They're gonna probably slowly move stuff down. We already have state agencies in Kansas City, St. Louis for attorney generals and that. But I believe that we need a central government. I don't want to go to Columbia, I don't want to go to St. Louis or Kansas City. To the extent we privatize things, I can understand, but I do not want losing the power here in Jeff City. That's what makes the city, our government here, and you can do all your things here. And so I like our government studies supposed to go nowhere, but I hear that sometimes they would. So I would be a little more hesitant to jump on board. That's what we have different legislators, different opinions, different backgrounds and wisdom.
We should have walked each other.
But he's got better.
I would agree. I would be concerned that it would pull stuff away from Jeff City. I don't, you know, but I don't know what all they would be studying. I mean, is there something that?
Well, they would, the study would be, they would come back to the legislature. They could be for a very short period of time. So there's only a month that they're taking. So they would be, that they would report back to the House and the Senate. And then the next year will be all different. It would be assigned to those states. So it's, I think we've tried to put in some, just the, little knowledge that I have of this bill, I think I've been able to see that there's some thought that's gone into it. But I think we gotta keep government here in Jefferson City. I think there's ways that we can improve the private sector, and that's the way I private sector. Government has to move toward the city.
Follow questions? Want to thank both Representative Griffith and Senator Bernskoetter for being here. Respectful of your time, we're right at 9:30.
So I just did one, thoughts. I just think the golf ball was great.
That's the wrong person. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, good, great quarter, thank you, folks. Yeah, got the clicker, so, welcome everybody. Why don't we go around the room and, do introductions before we introduce our sponsor? We have some new members here. If you're a new member, you join us for the new member briefing. Why don't you raise your hand? We have some, yeah, great, folks there. You guys have introduced yourself to each other, but now we're gonna introduce ourselves again. So if you would like to just go around the room and with your name and company, that'd be great. Virginia, do you want to start?
Hey, I'm Virginia Steger with Bernskoetter, a commercial construction company here in town.
Jackie Cole and Associates, yeah, print mill business here in town since 2000.
Mike Tyson with JC Industrial Supply.
Mark Eichel's, Cole County Circuit Clerk.
Lucille Lander with Brad's Real Estate.
Darcy Crane, American Cancer Society. Terry Turgeon, former mayor and owner of Terry's Hallmark Shop. Brittany Schlu with Premium Pets.
Deb Bushman, Collins Family Chiropractic.
Jesse Cortana, the Growth Coach of Columbia.
Rachel Bush, All Seasons Roofing.
Haley Sullivan, Goosehead Insurance. Callie Shackles, Goosehead Insurance. Ashley Timmey, Jefferson City Chamber. Natalie Neville with the library.
Both Brad's Real Estate Auctioneer.
And Claudia Young with the library.
Susan with the chamber.
Joe Shepard, Nick Shepard's distributor.
Denise Peters retired single Maine.
Tom Knott.
Sharon Knott, Kevin Nelson, Oracle Road Testing.
Marina Milo and Milo Ward from Animal Medical Center. Diane Gillespie with the Jefferson City Convention District.
Julie from the nation.
And Jay Moore with the chamber staff.
Sarah with Sarah Brown Wellness.
Cameron Gerber with the district.
Randy Bloomington, the St. Mary's Hospital.
Glad you're here. I did mention that we had some new members in the room because we had a new member welcome prior to this, but we also have a lot of new members in this room and we have a lot of new members to announce because the chamber had a little membership challenge. We had 4 different teams, the chamber board, the ambassadors, past chairman, and the young professionals. And their goal in April was to invite people to join the chamber. Maybe we have not done a very good job of reaching out to our friends in business, our neighbor businesses and say, hey, join the chamber. So this is a great list, starting with Cold Stone Creamery, Kim Idell with Remax, Dukes on the Boulevard, Quick Play, O'Donoghue's, Little Dixie Construction, Clarkston Nelson, Mid-Mo Uptown Lindsay, Glenn's in the room, Cinco de Mayo, Rainbow Restoration of Jeff City, Purdell, Weber Management, Tim Jenkins, the Shelter Insurance Agency, Edward Jones, Dakota, and she's here, Bliss Nail Bar, People Helping Paws Cat Rescue, Seeing the Expressions, Eat Smart, Mortgage Solutions USA, Randy Bickle, and then Haley and Callie with the Goosehead Insurance, Eyes on Missouri, Rent One, yeah, John's here, American Red Cross, JC Industrial Supply, Mike Silvertree Companies, Dos Primos, The 20, Premium Pets, Whitney, Grimes Real Estate, Cecile, she's here, La Pachon, Korea, and Kathy Pearson. We might have some other folks we will list at our next Friday coffee, but we are really proud to have those new members and the investment they've made in the community and our chamber, and we look forward to having them just help us as a volunteer or, like I said, as their support. So glad to have the new members. We already had our program, so our sponsor spotlight. I think I'm going to officially turn it over to either Natalie or Claudia or both.
Both of us.
All right.
I'll run the PowerPoint. Thank you.
I just have a funny story to tell you before I start. I was at the Zombie Luncheon on Tuesday, and Dave and Mike were both there, as well as Lieutenant Governor Keyhoe, and my parents got to meet all of them. They're from a little town in Illinois, just 300 people, so they thought they were, you know, really living it up here in Jefferson City, meeting the public officials, and I think they were surprised that I knew them by name, so. They're good men now, and they do a lot for our community and our state, and I would have thanked them if they would have stayed. We're here this morning to talk about hopefully, the next chapter of Missouri River Regional Library, and that next chapter is dependent on community support. And the community support comes in the form of an increased levy. And so right now, our library levy is at 20 cents for assessed valuation. And we will be asking for 15 more cents on the August 8th ballot. So we can go up to 35 cents. This is because we have 4 really critical issues that need to be addressed in our building. And with addressing those, we would like to dream a whole lot bigger and be able to provide services that would greatly impact our community. And so those critical building issues involve bathrooms and elevators that barely meet ADA. We have cast iron pipes, which we've had trouble with this week. And we have a technological infrastructure that's maxed out, and we often have issues with it. When I talk about the restrooms and the elevators, accessibility is so important. And there are a lot of folks in this community that struggle to get larger wheelchairs in our bathrooms and in our elevators. I had the great misfortune of being in the restroom with a woman that had trouble getting her wheelchair around a wall in our restroom and was crying. She was stuck in there. And so we want shorter shelves so people don't have to stand on stools to reach the 2 high books. And so all these things are an issue with our building. It's 15 years old and it served us extremely well. And we would like to set it up for the next 50 years. So addressing all these things, we could do just that. We could address these things and not do anything else. But we would take public space away from people. And like I said, if we have more space, we can do more, we can provide more services, we can provide more services to the county. And so we have big plans, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about this morning, and I swear it's abbreviated, because we will be talking here in July.
I do always like to point out, because this picture is of our ribbon cutting back in the 70s, and those are the same scissors that the children still use.
That's right. It's all by the way. Mayor Christie, I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember Mayor Christie, but that's Mayor Christie cutting the ribbon there. So.
Okay, so now really quickly, we're just gonna kind of show what this new building is gonna look like. These are our architect's renderings. We have had some questions. The plan is to renovate and expand in our current location. So some people have asked where it's gonna be built. It's gonna be built right there. So we plan to have a green space on the 2nd floor. We're adding a 3rd floor. So it's kind of hard to tell in this first picture, and the second picture you can see it better. We're gonna have lots of community rooms and study rooms, lots of different space. We've done a lot of conversations, surveys, all kinds of stuff with key stakeholders in our community. And this is what they have said that they wanted. They wanted us to stay downtown. We're in Anchor downtown. They wanted to have study rooms so that when teachers come during the summer and they tutor kids, they have a quiet space to go. They wanted us to have community rooms. Probably most people in this room recognize how hard it is to find a community space for people when you want to have a meeting. So, and it's hard at the library right now because of all of our programs. The other part of it is that they really wanted us to have another entrance to downtown. So in this bottom picture, this front street right here is High Street. And this top one, where the car is and that lady's running, is Adams. So that kind of gives you some orientation of what it looks like and where it's going. And like Claudia said, we're the program in July. So please come back to Chamber Coffee in July. We're going to go into all of this much more in depth. I did give everyone a fact sheet, so there's lots of information there. And then just really quick, some frequently asked questions that we've been getting a lot of. How long will you be closed and where will you move to? If it passes in August, construction will start, or we will move out in May. Construction will start next summer and we will be out for 2 years. Where are we gonna go? Good question. There's a lot of things that you don't think about. Anyone who's moved a box of books realizes how heavy books are. Multiply that with an entire library. So we can't just go into any building. But we are working with some people in town to identify some locations and some spaces so that, assuming it passes in August, then we can start working on leases and that kind of stuff.
And we'll get really creative during that time. We still have a bookmobile and we will use it and go around to the neighborhoods. I'd love to partner with JC Parks and Rec and different organizations to bring library programming to everyone.
What about parking? Logan, when you asked them about, I was like, I'm so tired of talking about parking. Parking is always an issue downtown. I think we all know this. So we are trying to work with the city and the county to come up with some solutions. There's 2 buildings that have been torn down right over here. We would love to see that be turned into parking. It's an ongoing conversation that we continue to have. What happens if it doesn't pass? On your fact sheet, there's a whole block about what happens if it passes, what happens if it doesn't pass. Please be sure to read that. The biggest thing is that these critical upgrades have to happen. We would hate to have to take away more public space for them. So that's a big one. We're trying to find out more, there's a URL on your fact sheet. You can come speak to your group. We have a longer presentation, obviously. So if you have a group that we have not come to yet, or that you think would like to hear more about it, please get in touch with us. We would love to come talk to everyone. I think we're up to about 30 or so community presentations, and we're trying to add more until August 8th. So we just really want everyone to vote on August 8th. And even if you don't use the library, there's a lot of people in our community that use the library, really rely on it. And we kind of compare it to with the public schools. My daughter goes to parochial school. She doesn't go to public school, but we support the public schools initiative because we recognize the importance of our community having those strong resources. So, okay.
We wouldn't take any questions if you have them.
We also have a little door prize.
We have a door prize. I forgot to bring this up.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a sheet in here of coupons. So if you use the library for printing, for 3D printing, any kind of printing, because our printer works. Your printer at home may not work. It might not have a cartridge, but I guarantee you ours does. So we have that, and it's been very popular, especially during tax time. So if you want to come into the library and print, you've got $20 worth of free printing at the library. Got this new snazzy shirt.
If that's not the right size, you can go across the street and we'll switch it up.
Yeah, we can do it today. And then a nice bag to go with it, so.
Okay. Callie Scheichel.
Yeah. Come on up, and I'll take your picture.
Yep, okay, good. One thing, Gary reminded me, and I apologize, I get so interested in the room, I forget that we have folks joining us on Zoom, so if there's anybody on Zoom, and I didn't give you a chance to unmute yourself, we kind of turned our program back here and introduced, so is there anybody on Zoom that likes to let us know that you're here? How many?
We have actually.
My Zoom captain,
Please, 12.
12. Anybody? All right, okay, well then we'll move on. I apologize that
I just had a quick
Oh,
question.
yeah.
I wanted to ask Natalie if she would relay what she told us at Rotary about how much money this one library person uses the library so much.
Oh, yeah.
How much she saved, and that this 15-cent increase is so worth it.
Yes, absolutely. So we had a member of the community who figured out that this property tax increase would increase their family's property taxes by $56. They're gonna pay $56 more under this. And there's a calculator on our website where you can go type in like how many books you checked out, how many movies you checked out, how many programs you've attended, all that stuff. And then, so they figured out that last year alone, they would have spent $5,000 if they had purchased everything that they got for free with the library. So for them, it was very, very worth it. Thank you. That's a good segue.
Yeah, and thank to the library for being our sponsor. We appreciate that and opportunity like that you have for your business to promote your business and share. Friday Coffee is one of them. We have lots of opportunities for you to be involved in the chamber. And Rochelle is here with us, a partner with Cumulus Radio on this sponsorship. So not only do you get recognition at this event in our house prior, but Rochelle will work with you on a few radio ads. So it's a very good deal. So there's that. I'm going to do announcements quickly. Ashley, this one's yours.
Yep, next week, next Wednesday, on the 24th, you'll start having people on, during the lunch hour from 11:30 to 1. Paris AG and Michigan will be tag teaming new digital strategies, and that will include lunch. So if you would like to register, you can contact me or register on our website.
And then an announcement for an event we have coming up in June. It's our annual golf tournament. This is a wonderful event. If you have participated as a player or a sponsor, you get to meet a lot of individuals. We sell out with 36 teams. There's a possibility of a few team openings, so if that's something that you would like to do to play. But if you want to be a sponsor, you can be a whole host, which means that you greet people on the course. You may have some of those available, not sure, but you can always be a whole sponsor where your sign is there, or you can give us door prizes. We give away prizes at the 19th hole, the event we have at the end. So your business can be represented, even if you're not there playing or greeting people on the course. There's an opportunity for you. We appreciate Metal they work with us on that event. It's always a great success. Another program that we have is an opportunity for small business owners, and this is a group that you can join. It is the opposite of this. So it's on the second Friday of the even month. So our next one is June. And you can see these are, in fact, some people in the room that were here, Rachel and Sarah. Jeremy with Lincoln's Keeper is our facilitator, and our topic this time is 5 ways to improve hiring, engagement, and retention for a quality workforce. And this is a peer discussion, and the topics are really driven by the group. So if this fits you, if you would like to come and be a part of this group and make a commitment to be involved in kind of really how this program really grows, we would love to have you here. Do you want to add anything about this at all? Yeah. Small Business Roundtable. Another event we have for networking is Chamber Connections. It's always on the third Thursday. We had one yesterday at Prison Brew. And as Gary mentioned, the YP were there, and the Minority Business Council, and Global Insurance were there. We had a great Chamber Connections on the patio. Our next one is in June on the 15th. It's at Bar Whiskey. So the Central Bank and Central Bank and the Trust are our sponsors. So this is an opportunity from 4 to 5. You can network, exchange business cards, much different networking than this is, but still it's every month, the third Thursday. And we'd love to have you join us. Ashley has another announcement. I'm guessing, Ashley, because you're in that class. Let's go.
Save the date, the Battle Brews, the Leadership Judgment City class will be hosting the Battle Brews this year on Saturday, August 26th. We did change the time from 4 to 10. Now this year it's going to be noon to 6. So mark that on your calendar, and we will have sponsorships coming out soon.
All right. And just the market calendar, what we said, we have this event every other month. So we'll have July, September, November here and on Zoom. So I hope that you join us. And at this time, any member announcements? We kind of made our chamber announcements in the room. Anybody have anything coming up that they want to share? Darcy.
Hi, again, Darcy, American Cancer Society, and I would like to invite everyone to the Relay for Life of Cole County, first Friday of June. So this year, that's June 2nd. And this year, we will be at the Special Olympics track. So that's new and fun and different. And we'll be there from 5 p.m. till 11 p.m.
I wanted to share something that was very exciting to us at Missouri River Regional Library. On April 25th, we had a reporter from the Christian Science Monitor spend the whole day with us from 9 to 7 and sent a photographer. And they chose the library story to be the cover story of the Christian Science Monitor weekly. And so that is out on our website, and we just got a huge box of magazines yesterday. And my aunt and uncle back in Illinois subscribed to it, and they couldn't believe it. When I told them this, I know. They called me yesterday and they said, you're the Christian Science monitor. They've been subscribing for about 40 years. It's got 50,000 subscribers, and so it's kind of, you know, it's a big deal to us. They wanted to just spend a day in a regular library in Missouri. There's a lot going on. There has been a lot going on in Missouri pertaining to libraries, and so they just wanted to write a feel-good story about a library in Missouri, and it just happened to be us. And anyway, we're really proud of it, and it's not every day you can say you're in a national publication. So
It was fun too, they
yeah.
covered, Carrie was our library ambassador of the year, so they happened to be here today that she's getting her award, so, it was fun, because then that was all documented in there as well.
So my selfie's gone to 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of those.
You're selfie involved in
There
there?
was, it's a picture of her taking a selfie of us. But yeah, there are a lot of local citizens that using the library that day that were in it too. So anyway, just had to share.
Good. Anybody else announcements? Anything going on? Oh, what about, here we go.
Yep, we can hear
Yeah, hey, I'm not sure if everyone, oh, we can't hear. Is that what she said? You able to hear me? Maybe we just turn them on mute. Jefferson City Magazine is taking nominations for this year's Ones to Watch and Impact JCMO until May 31st. People can nominate at jeffersoncitymag.com. So maybe that's why no one wanted to introduce themselves.
Well, no, I mean,
Anyway, anybody else? So, okay,
I
here.
have to say, and I wasn't going to, but since, anyway, next Friday is the first concert at the amphitheater. Scotty McCreery is a week from today. So if you don't have your tickets, get them, and there's tons of great shows. So check it out for the whole season.
Anybody else, announcements, things going on in your business, or maybe a charitable organization you're involved in? Lots of great ones, yeah.
So it's not until June 24th, but Holland Family Chiropractic is having a patient appreciation day, if I can say it. It's 10 to 2 at our office. We close off the parking lot. We'll give out free special t-shirts. The doctors, if you're a current patient, get a free adjustment to get on our books. We'll have free food. It's gonna be a baseball theme one this year. No Cardinals. So yeah, come out and have a good time.
Post Builders is restoring the pergola for the governor's mansion room. We're gonna be definitely did work.
Good news to share, yeah. Okay, well, if that's it, I thank you all one more time for being here and encourage you to come back with this or another change of program. Okay.
Folks,